As you know, James Comey is out there, and he compared Donald Trump to a mob boss. Do we have like the specific quote of James Comey's? But he said it reminds him of Cosa Nostra, who, of course, Comey prosecuted, I think, back when he was a U.S. attorney or FBI agent. And because of the words Cosa Nostra came up, and they had access to Anthony Scaramucci, who was the former communications director for 8 days back in the Trump administration. The search for aggrievement here is going deep and wide. So they bring Scaramucci here, and listen to what Scaramucci does in response to Comey comparing Trump to a mob boss.
Giuliani earlier in his career, and he says this reminds me of that. Let's bring in Anthony Scaramucci now, former White House communications director. Had a chance to digest this, and also you know what it's like to be a businessman in New York, and this president was a businessman in New York. Anthony, welcome back.
It's great to be here.
Are you insulted by that?
Listen, I mean, here's the problem for Italian Americans. I can be insulted by that, but I really can't do anything about it because for whatever reason, it's still an unprotected class of people where they can say whatever they want about it. You know, I'm in the White House.
Pause it for 1 second. Yes. First off, he can't say I am offended by it because it doesn't make any sense for him to be offended by it. Comey did prosecute the Cosa Nostra. They refused. They referred to themselves as the Cosa Nostra. And he was simply saying, this reminds me of them because of the organizational structure, not because, Donald Trump eats pasta every Wednesday or something.
My Kuma's my daughter. Different situation.
Not even Italian.
He's not Italian. So you notice that Scaramucci says, if I were offended by this, I wouldn't be able to do it because for some reason, go back to the beginning. For some reason, Italians are not protected classes of people. Now, I don't know what class of protected people can't get depicted in Hollywood in an inappropriate manner. Right? Like what?
Well, obviously, black people and Muslims. I mean,
right.
Jesus Christ.
You can no
They're
longer
just perfect
project. Right, exactly.
Yeah, never any negative associations with those roles.
Well, it's illegal to do it.
It's literally, that was the Obama,
class.
You can't make bad movies about people like me, a.k.a. black and Muslim people,
right.
Act of 2014.
Right. Okay, so let's Scaramucci. If I was offended.
Or gay.
And this president was a businessman in New York. Anthony, welcome back.
It's great to be here.
Are you insulted by that?
Listen, I mean, here's the problem for Italian Americans. I can be insulted by that, but I really can't do anything about it because for whatever reason, it's still an unprotected class of people where they can say whatever they want about it. You know, I'm in the White House. They're saying I'm a walking pinky ring. Imagine if I was another ethnic group, they couldn't say that, right? But it just speaks to Comey's sanctimony and his lack of awareness in terms of his language, his lack of awareness of who he is as a guy.
What?
That's an amazing comment. I love that. And by the way, he is a walking
He's not sensitive
ring.
enough. He's not Comey. He's not sensitive.
This is a weird thing into their psyche because it's like when they whine and complain about like PC culture and everything, if this is the world that's actually filtering for them, that we've actually gotten to a point where like not only culturally, but legally, you can't even then that's amazing.
Now, I want to just pay the Scaramucci the proper respects because on some level, he's absolutely correct. Like, for instance, this is almost offensive. We don't know who put this together. It was Josh Marshall tweeted out. Don't know where we found it. But
this is horrible racist.
Yeah, this is almost disgusting. The way that they put Cohen to the music of The Sopranos, it's offensive to somebody. Go ahead.
This is professionally to Donald Trump, the man who keeps his secrets, who negotiated with Stormy Daniels, who was in charge of protecting, his secrets, is under criminal investigation without doubt at this point, and has been for months. That's the other thing that's so important about this, about what came out today. So it's not just Stormy Daniels that is related to this criminal investigation. Stormy Daniels may not even be part of the story. It relates to earlier.
Like how he boots this guy out of the seat.
Yeah.
I don't understand what is going on here.
It's just normal guys just hanging out in the middle of Midtown, showing that everything is normal.
Where do you have in Midtown those type of seats? Those like...
Well, I mean, the bench is there. They brought their own seats. Yeah. They just brought their own seats.
They brought their own seats.
For people listening, now here's the FBI, the monitoring surveillance photo. And it just looks so bored.
It's unbelievable. Folks, you got to go to... that's awesome. If you haven't, if you're only listening, go to the YouTube channel and check that out.
You know, Anthony's right.
So offensive. So offensive.
So offensive, but it was a big rebellion against Dad. Dad told me that the guineas were half mooly and only good for clearing out apartments, but I invited them to eat in my home. Total rebellion against Dad, being big-minded. And by the way, there was a lot of more blood in them, so in a certain sense, you could say I was not being racist towards the blacks.
There you go.
Dad said you could use them to burn down a slum to clear out an apartment project, but you could never shake hands with them because of the genes. And I did something totally different.
Part Mullignon.
Part Mooly, and they were in my house.